Alright, so we're at a point where no Marvel films, unless they're an origin story, will ever feel complete if they're not over 2 hours long. And now the latest victim of such short-length movies is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Don't get me wrong, this movie in and of itself isn't that bad, but boy, they could have done so much better. So in this video, I, who used to be a writer myself, will tell you each point that could have been written so much better. Now, Jeff Loveness is the writer of this film, and to be really honest, I love him and his work. He's an incredible person and really loves the MCU and all of its characters, and he'll be the one writing Avengers Kang Dynasty. But sometimes even the people that love us make mistakes. So here I am with my open letter to Jeff Loveness, hoping he sees this video one day and know that the criticism that I'm about to put forth is all out of my love for the MCU and quality content. But first, thank you to Empires and Puzzles for sponsoring today's video. Empires and Puzzles is a free-to-play, award-winning match 3 puzzle RPG. Don't be fooled, this game is easy to pick up but hard to master. Match shields of the same color to attack. The more you match, the stronger your attacks. But make sure to strategize your special attacks. Collect over 400 heroes based around different natural elements, with new heroes introduced monthly. You can upgrade your team by training your heroes, and after victory, even spend your spoils on your empire. I personally like to beef up my food and iron production, pun intended. Want even more rewards? Join an alliance and go PvP with other players to top the global leaderboard. Empires and Puzzles is celebrating its 6th year, and to commemorate, they've introduced a new feature to the game, the Museum, where you can revel at the heroes you have collected, keep track of your level maxed heroes, and even see who's missing from your collection. Collect bonus rewards for each maxed out hero you have, and in the Stories tab, relive your adventures by watching old PvE story cinematics of your journey. I find myself playing this game whenever I have downtime. It is really fun, so if you want to check it out yourself, download Empires and Puzzles now with my link below. Number 1. The sudden connection between Hank Pym and Cassie Lang. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me explain. The film began by showing us a strong bond between Cassie and Hank Pym. We got to know that Cassie has been learning about the quantum realm from her grandfather, and they both, along with Hope, have been working on a device that can literally map out the entire quantum realm. So something so massive, and you tell us through a few lines of dialogues? Why not begin the movie by showing us how Hank Pym took care of Cassie when Scott was stuck inside the quantum realm? Show us at least a minute worth of scenes where Cassie is connecting to Hank Pym emotionally. I mean, he's not even her real grandfather, and Hank himself doesn't open up to people that easily. And before I started writing this video, I watched both Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2, and guess how many scenes Hank Pym and Cassie had together? 0. No scenes together. Cassie before this movie didn't even know Hank Pym existed. So we went from no interaction to absolutely strong bond between grandpa and granddaughter. I understand it helps you move the plot forward, but the audience doesn't connect with it, do we? Number 2. The Mary Sue effect. Now, as much as I want to avoid using such offensive terms, but it seems like Marvel is just not learning from its mistakes. I mean, tell me, why the Cassie has it so easy when it comes to operating the Ant-Man suit, and in the case of Scott Lang, it literally took him a whole movie to get used to that suit. Scott struggles in the first movie a lot and has had to make a lot of sacrifices along the way. But Cassie, oh no, she just knows how to do it, and her only struggle is, how do I get the jump tap thing? I mean, come on, man. Now, I understand I'm complaining like a lot of people, but because I'm your Canadian lad and you trust me with your Marvel breakdowns, so let me propose a solution to this. The audience will have no problem accepting that Cassie is just great at everything just because she has had a rough childhood, but show us scenes where she's working on herself to get better at operating this suit. Now, Ant-Man 1 showed us that Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne were both fighting together in their suits, and the movie didn't show us them training. But you know why it still made sense? Because they're the ones who literally created the suit. And you know what's the best part of Iron Man 1 till this day? It's the part where Tony creates his suit and learns to get the hang of it. So show us at least 4 or 5 minutes worth of scenes where Cassie is running away from everyone, perhaps missing her classes at school, and going home to train in her suit. Oh, so that would make her more like Peter Parker? That would still be better than what we have now. The point is, make Cassie her own character, because the moment you keep following the comics verbatim, things will start looking ugly on screen. In comics, it makes sense if a daughter gets powers from her father, but in a movie, we can do so much more. Scott had to struggle to be the Ant-Man he is today, but Cassie gets everything served to her right off the bat. There is no room for improvement, no character development at all. And tell me I'm wrong when I say this, Cassie had a far better arc in Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2 than she had in this film, and she had the biggest role out of all in this one. Number 3. Downplaying Marvel's own legacy. And this is something Marvel has been doing for quite some time, and not just this movie. So in this film, almost everybody kinda makes fun of the fact that Scott Lang saved the whole universe. Everyone in his family takes it lightly. There is no sense of added respect towards him. I understand Scott brings it up quite too often, and Janet rightly mocks him, saying, "Oh, you should write a book about it." That's absolutely fine, and it is genuinely a funny scene, but what does that have to do with him saving homeless people on the street? Just because you're not doing anything more doesn't make what you have done meaningless. You see, the moment Cassie makes fun of Scott for saying he saved the universe, is she only making fun of her dad? No, she's also making fun of the audience who cheered for her dad in Endgame. And that's why the audience isn't cheering for anything anymore. Because we know one way or the other, whatever chaotic event that we're facing right now will be turned into a joke in the future. Why do it? Why downplay your own legacy? In fact, let me show you a scene that was deleted from Endgame.
Bottom of the ocean. Fell out of the plane after I had to crash it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask, why did you have to crash the plane anyway?
There's bombs on board.
Bombs on board. And you couldn't have jumped out of the plane before you crashed it?
Why do you think the Russo brothers removed this scene? It's because even though it's completely logical, but it downplays the very foundation of the MCU. So please don't degrade your own legacy for some cheap jokes that will make a total number of 5 people laugh out of millions. Number 4, please stop making 2-hour movies. And here's why I say it. Because the MCU has gone through so much until Phase 4, it's almost impossible to fit all of that in under 2 hours. Let me give you an example. Captain America 1 was 2 hours 4 minutes. Captain America 2 was 2 hours 15 minutes. And Captain America 3, aka Civil War, was 2 hours 27 minutes. And why do you think that is? It's because every time you come up with a sequel, you're adding more stuff to an already established character. And that's why till this date, Captain America is known to have the best trilogy in the entirety of the MCU. When the story was just about Steve Rogers, 2 hours seemed fine. But when Bucky was added in the story, the length increased by 10 minutes. And when the Avengers got included, the length increased by a huge 20 minutes. The reason I say Quantumania is still a good film is because I would remove nothing from this movie and still turn it into a great film by just adding more scenes in it. The movie as it is has huge potential, meaning they did get it right but not 100%. Doctor Strange 2 had the same issue, Thor Love and Thunder had the same issue, and now this. So if there's a producer's note somewhere asking the creative team to cut films in under 2 hours, then they're making a massive mistake. Marvel was known for letting writers do whatever the hell they wanted, but don't limit them to 2 hours. And I told you origin stories can be under 2 hours, right? But guess what? Shang-Chi, a very good origin story, is 2 hours 12 minutes long. And here we have the third installment of an already great franchise, which now has Kang as the villain, ends in 1 hour 53 minutes. And let me tell you the difference between old Marvel versus this new Marvel that we have now. The old Marvel used to give us incredible stories that led us to bigger events like Avengers 1 or Avengers Endgame. But now it seems Marvel just wants to make movies just so we can get to the point where we see Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars. Why the hurry? We are focusing on the end goal so much that we almost forgot to enjoy the journey. And let me end this video by asking you, my viewers, one simple question. Cassie Lang made a mistake in this film which led to her family getting abducted to the quantum realm, right? And she admitted it in the film too. Now tell me what consequences she suffered because of that. Oh, she's gonna suffer in Kang Dynasty? But isn't everyone gonna suffer in that film? The movie is literally named after its villain. What's the point of this movie then? This movie was nothing but a tool to advance the broader story till we get to Kang Dynasty. And it wasn't like this before at all. You see, Marvel wanted to make Avengers Infinity War, one of the best comic book movies till this date. But for that, they needed to break Tony and Steve apart. So they made Civil War. Now Civil War wasn't even the end goal here, Endgame was. But still, Civil War in and of itself is an incredible movie that you can rewatch whenever you want. And how many times can you rewatch Quantumania? So Marvel's focus was on Endgame, but they still made sure to give their all in Civil War. I know I shouldn't compare a movie that had all the Avengers and a movie that has poorly written characters, but I say why not? They're both third installments of their respective franchises. Which one made a bigger impact? Now lads, thanks again for watching, and don't forget to check out Empires and Puzzles through the link in description. It's available on Android and iOS. I'll see you lads in the next one.
Dad, a guy dressed like a bee tried to kill me in my room when I was 6. I've never had a normal life.
Go fuck yourself.